Welcome to Fierce Female Filmmakers, a production of Artemisia's Daughters, a non-profit organisation that aims to inspire, educate, empower and employ women of all ages and backgrounds in the film and TV industries. Welcome to Fierce Female Filmmakers. My guest today is a dear friend of mine, Luana Di Pasquale. She's a writer, a director, she's a self-shooting DP and has worked in TV production, and she has been editing for a very long time. She has lots to tell us about working as a woman in the film and television industry. Welcome, Luana.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good. All good,
yes,
thank you.
I can see there's some sunshine there in London today.
There is hope.
That's nice.
There is hope, Alexandra. There is hope.
So tell me, you are this multitasking female filmmaker. Tell me a little bit about how you started and what that looked like when you were a teenager. How you went about becoming part of the film industry.
It's very interesting because I never had this kind of dream to become a filmmaker, or not at all. I went to art school, so my focus was in the art, but I didn't really know in which art I was going to delve into. And it took me a while, to really understand really what I wanted to do as a grown-up. So probably, in fact, I went to uni quite late. I got my diplomas when I was 19. Still, I wasn't sure. I mean, I enjoy fine arts, but I'm a very sociable person. So fine arts, it gets quite restrictive. So, and
it's
then
quite lonely.
Yeah, I mean, I like solitary. I like to be on my own as well, but also I like socializing. So I had to kind of find a way something that it would combine these two characteristics of my personality. So, and then by chance, I was in London, and because I came to London for holiday and I really enjoyed it very much. And I thought, okay, I'm going to stay here. And then, oops, 20 years passed.
And that's how it happens, isn't it? I'll just come for the summer. And then you start meeting people and working, and a job turns into another job, or now you've got a lease on a flat, and why not stay?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. And actually that summer, it was the hottest summer ever. It was 1999. It was like 30, 35 degrees every day. Sunny every day. So you didn't feel the hit of temperature drop from Italy. No,
where in Italy
not
are you
at
from?
all. I'm from near Milan. It's called Pavia, but all my family is from Sicily. So I grew up also in Sicily. So during the summertime in Sicily, in the wintertime near Milan. So I got the two words together,
Did you experience any sort of culture shock, though, coming to London, or did it feel like there was lots of culture and stuff for you to get involved in?
The thing is, I felt home when I got here. So, and it was just like, oh, this is cool. I always found Milan very, very small because this is where I study. So London, it just felt like the right size, the right people. Like, it was really cool. I really enjoyed my summer. It was great. And then I decided,
did you get a job? What was your first job?
My first job, I was a waitress in a cafe in Jean Street in Soho, and I couldn't speak English. So I always remember that I would go with the menu and to the customer and ask them to put a finger on the food that they want to get.
That's
and it
so
worked.
brave. That's so brave, though, to come to a country where you don't speak the language and then get a job. And just, I'm sure you learned food item vocabulary very quickly.
Well, I learned to open bottle of wines in a restaurant, because after the cafe, I moved into a restaurant, and that's where things became more complicated. I never opened a bottle of wine before. So, and I remember that was my nightmare. Oh my God, I had to open a bottle of wine. Now it's no problem, but by then, yes, it was. I took it very lighthearted in a way, because I was enrolled in psychology in Milan. And I really wanted to study psychology, but at the same time, I have so much fun here. I was learning the language, and I met very cool people. And in a way, I felt like London would be the place that he's going to show me which art I was going to go for. And then literally psychology, I have always I had a great interest in psychology, but still I study art and I wanted to do something within the art scene, but I didn't really know what. So I thought London is going to tell me this. I was sure about it. Like London is going to tell me in which art I'm going, I'm going to practice.
Did it take a while? Did you go around the art forms?
No, it took me like a year and a half probably, but it happened by chance. I didn't even I never thought, I'm going to become a filmmaker one day. I didn't at all. It was just because I enrolled myself to a course, a media course. It was very general media course. And I remember
Where was that? Was it?
I don't remember. It was like a media course in film and TV, something very general. And it was probably very... not very practical. It was very general about the industry in general. And I thought, I'm kind of interested. I can do this to start with and see.
What media course did you go to?
I don't remember the name of, but probably was something very general, like about something general about the film industry, tells you how that works, or something around that. And I remember that I don't know why, but I was at the Italian consulate, because I have to do some paperwork. Probably I need to do my residency. And this is what I was dealing with. When I got a phone call from the college and said, I'm so sorry, miss, but we didn't get enough number for this course, so we had to cancel it. And I was like, oh my God, the first time I'm thinking to do something, it got canceled. So I was very depressed about it. But then the guy who called me said, look, we are doing the opening day at college. So if you want, come around and maybe you're going to find even something better. And I was like, okay. So I went to the opening day and I met Katie. Oh my gosh, she's an awesome teacher, filmmaking teacher. So she basically sold me her filmmaking course, which it was 90% practical and 10% theoretical. And I was like, and she just spoke so highly about it. And she was so fun. And I was like, okay, I join in. So I joined in. And my first day at the course, so 1 year after I came back, I arrived to London. And my English was a little bit better, of course, because I've been practicing in restaurants and with my friendships and, and everything else. And she gave me this huge handy camera, like the massive one. That don't
back
make it
in the
anymore.
day, yes,
back in
probably
the day,
as big as you.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to and she put on my shoulder and she said, go and make a documentary. And I said, okay. So I went and I make a 10-minute documentary about HIV. And and I remember then she told me how to edit and I put all the footage together. So, I done my, I have my book with all the interviews, all my appointments, calling up doctors and going shooting nightclubs. I made this 10 minutes of documentary about HIV and I think the subtitle was something... Yeah, around that. And so I done the documentary and my tutor looks at me and say, I think you should go to university, It's like, really? Yeah. And I think you won't have any problem. It's like, okay, fine. So then through the college, I applied to university because she told me to do that. And I thought, and of course I enjoyed the process. So okay, I can do that. And she said to me, yeah, apply to 3 or 5 universities, but this is the one to go. And she points out the University of Arts, London College of Communication. And she say, it's very hard to get in, but if you do your homework, you're going to be fine. And I was like, okay. So, and then I applied to LCC, London College of Communication, that at the time was of printing. And so I had to do, the entry was I had to write a 500 words essay about my favorite movie, why, and I wrote about Blow Up of Antonioni, which was his first movie that he shot in London. So I wrote that, and then I had to do
500 words isn't very much, actually.
No, it's not. So
it's hard to actually encapsulate your feeling about a movie you're passionate about in just 500 words. So that must have been as much of a challenge as anything else.
Yeah, it was. But you see, it was so lighthearted. You know, I wasn't like, I was just doing it because of the enjoyment of it. So I didn't even think I didn't really process it. I was enjoying, because while I did the documentary about HIV, then I had to make an insert for TV news, and then I had to make a short film. So every 3 months I was doing a different project. So I was just like really enjoying doing it. And also you were using very old-fashioned kind of editing kind of stuff that, you know, probably it wasn't not yet their premiere, you know, like in 2000. So I was just, I did things in a very light-hearted way. And
you didn't put any weight on getting into the college or not, because
not at all.
It was just part of your work. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I was just doing it. And and then another things I have to do for LCC was to make a piece to camera, which I speak to the camera and tell them why I want to take the course. And and the video was like 3 minutes video, so like quite long. So you had to read the script, and we had TV studio. So I type everything so I could read, look very confident on camera. You know what I mean? That's so funny. And plus I had to make a short film. And it was like, oh, I didn't, yet my teacher didn't teach me how to make short films. So, and she said, don't worry think about something. And then I thought, okay, there is one poetry of Charles Baudelaire, which is my favorite one, which is called Un Passant, which is a passerby I really like. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can do a short film about it. And so I had a friend of mine, she was an actress, really good, like beautiful and good. Actually, she worked on a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, the one that they shot in Thailand.
At the beach.
So, yeah, the beach. She was one of the girls on the beach. And so I did an adaptation of this poem because it's about, basically it's the poet Charles Baudelaire is walking in a market in Paris, and he meets this beautiful woman dressed in mourning. And her pain is what makes falling in love with her. So, but I kind of changed that. I made it to be like more like a young, attractive woman who works in Soho. And so I twist a little bit. And so I done that. And then I sent it off that too. And then I got accepted.
That's incredible.
And this is how I started. And so then I went to uni after.
How long was that course? How long was your university?
3 years. So I done the Access Media course, which was a sitting guild in 2001. And then 2001, I start uni, and I finish in 2005. And I graduated as a writer and director and / producer, because I shot my short film in Italy, which it was called Interference. And it was a bit mad. Like kind of in a way, now I know where Keep Mom come from. Keep Mom is a short film I just made after 15 years where I didn't do any fictions. And in a way, it's kind of the same kind of genre, thriller, very mind-based, I would say.
Psychological.
Yeah,
thriller.
very psychological. Because I'm very interested on trauma. So Interference, it was another film about trauma, and that's it. So I went straight to make films without not realizing I was actually making in them.
Let me take you back to your saying, you know, I graduated as a writer and a director and, well, of course, a producer, because I think that's the key that a lot of people are missing here, that a lot of us by default or by absolute necessity have to be producers as well, especially in the beginning. Because if you're not prepared to do all of the legwork that gets you the crew and the financing and all those other things to make your vision, your story happen, nobody else is going to do it for you. I mean, of course, creative people find producers who just want to produce. But I think in the beginning, especially we women, we have to do it ourselves. We have to do all of it ourselves. And I can't edit. I mean, I can edit in iMovie, my little amateur iPhone films of my pugs in the woods.
But
that's good. But I can't use Final Cut. I can't use any of those really sophisticated programs. But you have been, because that ended up being your day job, was making content and film for television. Talk a little bit about some of your early jobs.
Yeah, but in fact, actually, it's very interesting what you're saying, because now I try to understand where my self-shooting PD and editing came from. And of course, because of my time at the Sitting Guild and
she
university.
Made you shoot it. Yeah, she made you shoot it and she made you edit it.
Exactly. And I was shooting and editing. And I done that for 1 year. And then at university as well. Not with my graduation film, because I had a crew of 15 people, so I had my own editor. But I always edit my work and I always film my work at uni. So basically, this is how I became a self-shooting PD, because KT and university. So what happened when I finished uni? So then you don't really think that you're going to start working, but I've been blessed in a way, because, and this is because I did a party to fundraising my graduation film. So I raised for my graduation film, I think $3,000. 1,000 pounds by making a party at Cargo. Do you remember Cargo in East London?
No, is it a club?
Yeah, it's a club.
Restaurant?
Yeah, it's a club in East London. So with the Studio Union, I created this party Sunday, which I showed the trailer for my film, and I had the 2 rock band playing, and so other people's stuff to show up. So I raised there 1,000 pounds. And then...
Well, just people put money in a pot when they walked in? They knew
No. They were paying £5 to get in. And then if they had the discount, maybe they would pay £3. But they had like, rock band. They have different set of DJs. So I made this set of DJs, rock band, and then maybe a free drinks to start with or something. No, I don't remember very well. But... this is how I raised the money, and the owner of the club, it was a friend of mine, didn't make me pay the rent, which is good, but they got the money from drinking, so that was very helpful. And in that night, there was the marketing director of Vladimir Vodka, which came up to me and say, when are you going to finish university? And I said, I'm going to finish in July, like 2005. That was 2004 Christmas time, just before Christmas. And he's like, don't worry, you're going to work a lot. I was like, okay. And
that was a lovely thing to say, a lovely piece of encouragement. Did you go and work for him?
Yes. Amazing. So, in fact, July finished, it was my graduation. And I started working for Vladimir Vodka for like almost 3 years. And this is where I developed my self-shooting PD skills, because I had to really make funny vignettes about the promotion of the... I mean, I have to say, we were selling... It was a very youthful kind of marketing around. It was all about music and street art and art and rock festivals. So basically, I was creating these very funny... vignettes and mainly capturing their marketing, and go to festivals around the world. I went to Rock Fuji Festival in Japan. I made 20 minutes documentary about the festival, and a lot of festivals around England, in France. And so it was basically fun. I've been drinking a lot of vodka and a lot of whiskey for like 2-3 years and making these films.
Yeah, how fantastic. But what a great
experience as well. I'm sure you learned to work to shoot really quickly and shoot lots of stuff and get a really discerning eye about what you wanted to shoot and how you wanted to tell the story. And then you get back home and you've got all this footage, and now you have to sew it back together. But in a very short sequence of, when you're doing trailers, or sometimes they're really hard. When you have more time, you can unfold the story quickly. But I think it's really challenging to make an exciting trailer and not give too much away, get people intrigued about what you're telling the story about.
Yeah, and it was like more about selling a lifestyle, really, because the target of it were very young kids. So in one side, you don't really feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. I mean, you promote alcohol at the end of the day, but I think we were doing in a very common way to do it. Is actually doing the opposite kind of way, just showing the fun of doing stuff than actually the drinking of it.
Yes, which actually is quite. You see that as the norm now. They're promoting a lifestyle, not the action of the product.
Yeah.
It's like the lifestyle that comes with purchasing the product is this Instagram world. And it sounds like you were doing that before Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. So we were we were doing that even before of everything. And now it's just so normal. But by then it wasn't like a normal thing to do.
Yes. So after that, what was your next job? Did you break out and do freelance work? Did you feel what was your next job?
Yeah, because I was already a freelancer. I had to become a freelance because so I had to become a self-employed and carry on and do what I was doing, just filming, editing. But yet, you see, come out of uni, even then, I didn't really thought, I want to making movies. I was just going with the flow. Like literally, I was just going with the flow and learning my skill, owning my skills and so on. So I just started doing other stuff. So so after Vladivor, I got in contact with the Guerrilla Girls on Tour, which is an artist collective from New York that they are amazing, and I started working with them, and we did a lot of feminist stuff. And one of this, it was a little short comedy about our feminists, really funny, and it was tied up with their performances, their theater performance, and they were doing around the world. So, and I met them at this Women Arts International Festival. And I made a short film for them, and then that led me to actually do a promo of the Women Arts Festival, where I met all the coolest women artists, and I always loved. And so from there, I started doing more promotional video for private clients, and then Current TV was quite big then. So I started doing documentary for them.
Oh, I remember Current TV. Yeah, what happened to them? They probably got bought by Netflix or something.
I think I don't really remember. They started like around 2007, 2008, and then they closed in 2012. I think they sold it.
Explain a little bit what that was. It was like YouTube. You could post your own videos, but they had to be sort of newsworthy. It was like Medium for video.
Yes, it was a very, I think it was actually a very good channel, and they were quite big because they were in England, they were in Italy, they were in Europe, in America. So, and I think Al Gore was behind that, and the time when he lost, Al Gore lost against Bush, I think, in 2000 somewhere. And then he did this really cool channel, which was a TV channel, in which basically all filmmakers around the world, they were making documentary for Current TV, which they were commissioned. And so you had to pitch ideas. And if they were good enough, target audience between 18 to 35, different subjects. I done one about drug abuse, which was very tied up with the a personal experience, which was very, it went very well, and I was very pleased. And also because people, they were so kind to me. It's like, oh, thank you for doing this. It must be devastating, drug abuse and all that kind of stuff. And they kind of learned something out of it, which was really, I was very happy. And another one I made about a female porn director from UK, and she was making porn for women, and I thought, interesting, which I actually met her in the Women Art Festival. So everything is it's been always connected with what I was doing next. So this is why he went like, I was just self-shooting PD, but not because I wanted to be a self-shooting PD. It's just because one thing led to the other, and then I just follow. And
but life is like that. I think if you try to make too many plans, that way madness lies, because you've got this. It's great to have a goal but it's not always a straight line to that goal. You have to be prepared to do the creative U-turns and the legwork and meeting people. What I'm hearing you say over and over is that you were at this place, it happened to be the right place because that person was there. And then you had an experience with that group of people, which of course expanded your network to more people. And I think that's key, especially you can connect to people with social media, but I know that just meeting people and talking to people about what they're doing or what I'm doing, and you end up finding these collaborators that you don't necessarily find. They don't call you. You have to go out and engage with other people, and that's how your world expands.
Yeah, so he's been like a very serendipitous.
Serendipitous works. Yes.
It was really like I was going with the flow, and I just carry on. In fact, the other day I just put like a little website with all my old work that I've done, just to have as archive. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, I was busy, I was very busy. And
let me ask you this, though. You were very busy, and you were being hired by all sorts of people. You were behind by the women's group. Did you find a difference working with a group of women versus working for a man at a corporation or a company that wanted a promo? Can you speak a little bit to the differences working with men versus women, being a woman, self-shooting?
Yeah, I can tell you straight away because I just remembered this. And it's just like, I never had problem. I never really had problem, but I had a couple of problems, they said, and I remember, which I didn't get paid for. And this is because I always believed the fact that, and they were always men. And I had 2 clients. Then for some, they come up with very, very not very good excuse, I would say, and very banal. And that they didn't pay. And the fact, because probably they knew that they could undermine me because I'm a woman. And also, I mean,
wait a minute, they didn't pay you because they didn't think you deserved the money for the job you did? Because you're a woman?
Yeah, probably something around that, I would say, because the justification for not paying wasn't,
just a woman did it. A woman shot it.
Yeah, so it's just like, and one I went almost back to go against it, and they were supporting me back to, but then I said, I had to fight. I can't be bothered, So what I learned to really choose my client. But, I think I've been doing very well because in all 9 years of self-shooting PD, I had only 2 male clients. And one was someone that I knew as well, which is, it's not very nice, through a friends of a friends. And the other one I didn't really know. But he, I didn't make a really good contract in the first place because I trust. And so, there is always, it's never the fault of somebody. It's always the fault of 2 in some ways. But I thought they, the fact that I was a woman, they felt like it's okay to take advantage of me. Yes. This is what I felt. And in fact, the justification, they were like, what? It's like, are you kidding me? Kind of thing.
That is a good lesson learned, though, too, when you said you didn't have such a solid contract because you knew them or they were friends of friends. And I think over the years you learned that actually that's a very good reason to have a contract, because you know somebody, and a handshake isn't always enough, because it just you need to make it very clear. I hate those contracts. They're just full of all this legal language I don't understand, and I'm like, well, I know this person, how, you know, what could happen, how bad, but these contracts, and even if you have a bit of money to pay an entertainment lawyer to look it over for you, who can look over it with a more objective and educated eye, I've learned over the years that's a necessary business expense. It may not be at the beginning something that you're able to do, but I think you get burnt once or twice, like you did. You're like,
twice.
Right, that's it. I'm done. Yes.
Yeah, I'm done. And that's it. And I have to say, in 9 years of self-shooting PD, so creating content for people, I mean, twice it happened. So it's not too bad. You know,
it's a very good ratio.
Yeah, it's a good ratio. And I learned a lot. I learned straight away from it. And I was like, no, this is not going to happen anymore. And then I went, and then funny enough, there was one couple, hand up. And this is kind of what led me to the TV production thing, because I never really thought to do TV in my life, because I'm not really like, one thing is creating content for TV. So like Current TV, I was making documentary for them, but to actually make a TV talk show, I never thought about it in my mind. And what happened is that one of the clients that I had, and I was creating content for, so self-shooting PD and editing, it was this couple therapist in Norway. And they asked me to make a documentary about love. And it was a very interesting documentary in a very interesting time in my life, where I was, okay, I need to face these things about love, what it is. So it just came at the right time. So I went to Norway to make this documentary, and which these couple therapists, they were basically tell all about the experience in becoming couple therapists, what they learned, and after 25 years together, they got married, and so that was very interesting, and that actually documentary, he led me to the TV production of the TV talk show, which was called Love Talk, and anything I learned about love, I put in there. Oh, anything I didn't learn about love, I put in that show. And that was interesting, because this is when I decided not to be a self-shooting PD anymore, because I had a crew of 15 people. We had a very small budget to make 2 episodes per week. But it was actually fun, because at the end of the day, for me, it was not really about documentary or promo or TV talk show. It was more about, you know, you want to tell a story. So regardless of the format, for me, it was a challenge. So I was just taking it and see where the project was going to take me. And then I done the TV talk.
I do remember about 5 years ago, you and I having a conversation about you were just burnt out with that job. I mean, it sounds like you were a victim of your own success, that you could have gone from job to job to job, but with all of those roles to play, self-shooting, editing, directing, you're like, I need to do something else.
I swear. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, it's true. I remember we were in Soho. We were in that in membership club.
House of St. Barnabas.
Yes, and I was telling you. And so for me, the TV talk show was a good break, because still it was a even part-time job. The problem is that with all the years that I was self-shooting PD, doing my own personal work was very difficult. I managed to do some, but I managed to take it to a level where I could really dedicate myself into it. So, because I was just doing stuff for others.
So tell me a little bit how you came to make your short film, Keep Mum, because that's doing incredibly well on the festival circuit. Yeah, and I believe it's on Amazon now. You can watch it on Amazon. So look it up and check it out. But again, I know even a short film there's so much work that goes behind it. So there must have been this moment when you were doing the talk show when you're like, I have to really knuckle down and make this film. Otherwise, it just won't happen.
Yeah, and was when I quit. I basically, after a year working on the TV talk show, because my aim was to rebrand the TV talk show and take it to a next level. And when I done that, they were very pleased with the product. They want me to work full time for them, and I say no.
The golden handcuffs. You'd never be out of it. Yes.
Full-time job for me? No way. It's like, no, I cannot do this. It's impossible. Like, and that it was a moment in my life where I went completely in crisis, because it's like, okay, now that I've done all those things, what Luana really wants to do? So I had to kind of question myself. Okay, I've done all that. I've done the social PD, the AD. I make content. I've done TV talk show. Now I'm more aware about love than ever before. and
you're still single.
And I'm still single. And what I really wanted to do as a grown up, and that was great, because then that's when they finally came out of me. To basically what I learned over the 10 years of freelancing, I had to put it out to make this idea come real. And then luckily I got an idea to make a short film. Then it became Keep Mom. That was on Christmas. During Christmas we wrote that story.
A happy little Christmas story.
Yes, a very, very happy Christmas story indeed. And then it took me probably a year to make it happen, which for a year I've been developing the script with the actors and everything. And then I found a co-producer, and we co-produced the film together. And within 3 months we shot it. And then the editing process, it took me a while, because then I ran out of money, because we did some crowdfunding. I got some privates involved to put the funding for the film, but I managed to finish the product by June 2019, and that's when I started sending it to film festivals. So, it took a couple of years to make a short film, and usually, as you know, a feature film, it takes between 3 to 5. But that was Keep Mom is a special project, because it also comes from my production company. Because one other thing I realized, okay, I'm self-shooting PD for so long. I want to make movies. I had to open my production company. So let's start from small, like short. And
you have something on the books. You have something that your company has made. Yes.
Exactly. And see where that is going to take me. So, of course, since I finished the TV talk show, which was in 2015, I've been developing a slate of projects. And then I start producing with Keep Mom. So, and I'm using
Is Keep Mum the beginnings of a feature film? Are you going to expand it into a 90 minutes?
Probably the same theme. I'm not sure about the same story, but let's say I wanted to show with Keep Mom how I build up suspense, how I build up intrigue around the story of this woman. And, to kind of give a taste of my psychological thriller making.
Yes. It ends up being a sort of tone poem. It becomes the tone of something that you're experimenting with, and that's the brilliant thing. It doesn't have to repeat itself in a feature film, but it can be the tone of it, the themes and the style of it. You're sort of exercising your muscles towards whatever the next thing will be.
Exactly. So I really literally thought as a pilot for the feature in that terms, like you just said. So, and
oftentimes I know when I was looking to make a short film teaser for a feature script I have. I'd written the feature script, so it's sort of the other way around. Somebody said, well, just take a scene from the film and just do that. And I just thought, oh, but then it's got sort of it's hanging there in the ether. There's no reference point to it. So instead I sort of reverse engineered what we just said. And I did a film which was about one of the characters. It could have been an experience of his. I got to experiment with high-speed camera because I wanted to do super slow motion. So it was about much more than saying, oh, this is what my film is going to look and feel like, because it can't actually. The short film with its level of budget cannot match what the budget needs to be for the feature. Exactly. So the short film became its own little entity. And I got to play with slow-mo and stuff like that, which actually was the most exciting part. I didn't have to worry. It was the
boxing film, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, I loved it.
But it was as much about the Steadicam and the slow-mo and all of that than trying to stick closely to the wilderness, which is the screenplay that it's borrowed from. So it's kind of, I guess there's a lesson there that you can start with something really big and make it small, or you can start with something small and expand upon it. But the journeys that you go to on the narrative or on the visual can be varied and imaginative and interesting and connected, but not the same as.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, and again, and this is when I realized that actually I went back to my graduation film, like in terms of the theme I was exploring then. It was all about traumas and very psychological. And this is the stuff I really like, the stuff I really enjoy. And,
so what's next? What's next? What is going to happen next? Now that lockdown is easing in London and hopefully you don't get another wave and you can keep moving, what are your plans for this summer?
So basically I'm writing. My working title is My Enemy Within, which is the follow-up to Keep Mom. So I'm really having great time with that, and I really take my time, and I'm doing a lot of research right now. And because it's something I like to shoot in Scotland, in the Highlands, if possible. And so I want to make sure to shoot the feature film without COVID, honestly, because the last thing I want to spend money on COVID.
Is COVID compliance. Yes.
No, it's like for an indie film already it's hard to make films for independent filmmaker.
But plus, you have to put all those extras.
I mean, 30% of your budget is going to go there. I mean, I'd rather spend more time to make a very solid project, a very strong script, find the right collaborators. And probably what I'm trying to work is like, Keep Mom is a very minimalist in his dialogue, and I have only 2 actors in it. So I won't have a lot of actors, still a very minimalist approach in some desolated houses in the Highlands. That would be so great. So not many locations, and really stretch the script writing, really, like using limitations to actually make something really cool out of limitation. Yes. Also because I really want to avoid anything that is COVID related. So I'm doing that while I'm running my own workshop, filmmaking workshop. And,
tell me a bit about that. Yes, and are they ongoing? Can people join at any time? Is it a course? How are you doing that?
Well, at the moment, I'm working for institutions. So I'm doing collaborations at the moment. But also I do, if you contact me through the website, which is called shootstoriesonsmartphone.com.
And actually, stories on
smartphone.com.
I'll make sure that's in our information.
Yeah, basically, since I with the TV production, I went to teaching. And that was very interesting because I started working in communities, in art organizations, and teaching. And I had so much fun because children love making horror movies. So I can actually have fun with kids. And not having kids for myself, I'm really enjoy working with kids of other people and making horror movies.
Yes.
And
other
also,
people's children, yes.
Absolutely. So and so I developed this passion, and this is like literally my passion. And what happened when there was lockdown? With the first lockdown, I got a little funding from the Art Council to actually make my workshop into online workshop as well, and develop furthermore ideas around it. So I come up with this course called the Art and Craft of Cinematic Storytelling, which is the shoot story on smartphone.com, because I thought, okay, how we can carry on and make movies in lockdown. Everyone has a mobile phone or a tablet or something, so they can use that. But what I love to teach is the art and craft of filmmaking.
Fantastic. With your iPhone, it's amazing.
Yeah, you can do with your iPhone,
yes.
You can do with your tablet, you can do anything.
Yes.
It's about the story at the end of the day. And
yes.
And basically my 6 years of experience of working for different institutions and organizations and communities. I love working for communities is the best. And community work. And I basically brought all those years together and come out with this filmmaking workshop. And
well, I'm sure that's keeping you really
fun.
busy. So when you said you're working for institutions, you're working for universities?
Yeah, colleges. So yeah. I work with college, and at the moment I'm working with I'm going to start a new workshop on Thursday in Cambridge, which I'm very excited. I'm working collaboration with a really cool art gallery. So it's a collaboration between this art gallery and a college in Cambridge. And so there are interesting things happening, and it's just like it's been full on. And I can send you definitely more information, so maybe if you can add, that would be great.
Yes, we'll definitely add that. Listen, Luana, I am just amazed at what you've done in your short life. It feels like you've been on a moving train making films since you came to London. It's fantastic.
Yes.
I didn't know all of that, and I think people listening will take away a lot of information about the different ways you can get into this industry and the different paths you can take that will bring you back around to this or that. And please come back again and tell us, maybe in some time, and tell us how your films are going. Well, maybe after you've shot your feature film in the Hebrides in Scotland.
That would be so cool.
I'd like to hear about all the war stories of that. I love war stories, movie war stories. Luana, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks you. Thank you.
Fierce Female Filmmakers is a production of Artemisia's Daughters. For more information, go to artemisiasdaughters.org. Our theme tune is composed by Charlie Mackey.